Before we proceed to the exercise, there's just one more thing to say about the specular reflection, or highlight, and the surrounding diffuse reflection of the light mass. The highlight's apparent position on the sphere is somewhat counterintuitive. Most students, including myself when I was learning, expect the highlight to be positioned in the center of the diffuse reflection, where the direction of the light is perpendicular to the surface of the sphere. This makes sense because this is where the surface both faces the light most directly and is also closest to the light source, and it is in fact where the brightest part of the diffuse reflection is located. But time after time, simple observation shows that this is not where we find the highlight. Instead, the specular reflection always appears to be displaced or shifted off-center in a way that can seem weird and arbitrary. That is, until you understand why. The key here is to remember that the highlight is nothing more than a reflection of the light source, and as such, a simple principle of physics applies. The angle of reflection will always be equal to the angle of incidence. This means that the angle at which the incoming light strikes the surface will be mirrored by the angle of the bounce. Remember the ball analogy? The same principle applies there too. The angle at which the ball arrives at the ground will be the same angle at which it departs after the bounce. This phenomenon is best understood when viewing the sphere from the shadow side. Here is where we would intuitively expect the specular reflection to be hidden from view, as most of the light mass is around the far side of the object. And yet the highlight is still there, squeezed in between the shadow edge and the edge of the sphere itself. From this perspective, it's easy to imagine a portion of the light rays from the lamp glancing off the top of the sphere, like a rock skipping off a pond. And even from here, the position of the highlight on the surface divides exactly in half the angle of the incoming light rays and our own angle of view on the sphere.